Hello guys, in this video I'm gonna demo you what we did for the first 30 days of the developer grant program. Just a reminder, what we are ultimately trying to do is to enable a canister to pay another canister in order to deploy whatever service, so typically a Docker image, on a non-replicated instance on another network. First of all, we have big news. We were initially planning to use Flux as the other network, which would provide the non-replicated instances. But the more we were working with it, the more we realized that that was not suitable for our needs and definitely not a reliable enough network for our ecosystem. So we decided to switch to Akash Network, which seems to be much better. And now I'm going to show you what we did so far. So first of all, we have a canister, which owns this address. So it uses threshold CDSA to secret share the private key corresponding to this Akash address, and therefore can sign transactions and send them to the Akash network using HTTP outcalls. In this dashboard here, we can see that the address owns around 20 of their tokens. And now we can show you a bit what this canister is supposed to do. So we have different methods, but the most interesting one right now is the create deployment, which basically, as you can see here, creates or submits to the Akash network this SDL, which is basically a description of the resources that it would like to get. So here you specify the amount of CPU, storage, and memory, and also the Docker image that you would like to deploy to the Akash network. And as you can see here, the Docker image is the WebSocket gateway. Now we can try to run this first transaction on the Akash network. And to do so, we just make this update call. We get some information in return. And if we reload the page here, we can see that the transaction went through. So there is a deployment that was done from a canister. This doesn't mean that the WebSocket is already running on the Akash network. And this is because of how Akash works. So basically, what we did right now is to create a request for a deployment. And many node providers on the Akash network see that there is this request and are now sending bits in order to be the ones on top of which we can eventually deploy our service. In order to fetch the bits, we can copy this number here and call the create list method, which basically retrieves all the bits from the different node providers. And in this case, it chooses the first one. Then, of course, we can use different strategies in order to get the cheapest or most reliable provider. So after calling this method, we have the address of the node provider that basically we chose, one of the node providers that we received the bits from. Again, if we reload the page, we should see a new transaction here on the dashboard. Yes, so the lease has been created. Again, this was done directly from the canister. And now with all this information, we can deploy IC WebSockets on the Akash network. So by now, the IC WebSocket gateway should be running on the Akash network. And indeed, we can test it by going to this URL. As you can see, this is the traditional demo of the IC WebSockets that we published a while ago. And here we are specifying the Akash or the gateway deployed on the Akash network. And if we go to this URL, it should be connecting. Here it still says run on Flux because this is just a UI element, but what counts is the URL that you specify here. Yeah, and as you can see, we deployed the service, in this case, the WebSocket gateway from the canister. And now we as a client connected to this gateway in order to retrieve some messages from a canister. This concludes our demo, and thanks a lot for your support.